Hello, everybody. My name is Harriet Price, and welcome today to the introduction to the MSc programs in marketing at UCD Smurfit Graduate Business School. Today, I'm joined by Richard from admissions, Kathy from marketing, and Ava and Eric from the MSc in marketing practice. So now we're going to start with what constitutes the MSc programs in marketing. So marketing as a subject at UCD Smurfit Business School. There are four programs or four different flagship programs that belong to the UCD Smurfit marketing programs. They are the MSc in Marketing, the MSc in Digital Marketing, the MSc in Marketing and Retail Innovation, and the MSc in Marketing Practice. The first three, MSc in Marketing, Digital Marketing, and Retail Innovation, are taught and lecture-based marketing programs, while the MSc in Marketing Practice is both a taught as well as an experience-based marketing program. On average, across all these four programs, we have about 200 to 300 as a total intake per year. And all the courses focus on having a very international and global outlook with regards to marketing within the world. On average, we have a 92% rate of students employed after 6 months after finishing their marketing masters at UCD Smurfit Business School. So I'm going to start with the MSc in Marketing. Here we have our academic director, Suhas, and the program manager, Evelyn. So the MSc in Marketing itself is ranked 37 in the worldwide according to QS Global Masters in Marketing Rankings in 2025. It is, as all the marketing masters are, it takes place across 12 months or 3 trimesters, and it is essentially an ideal course for understanding marketing as a general business discipline. It prepares you for a future in marketing specialization, such as being a brand manager or as being a marketing generalist, such as a marketing consultant. So what will you learn and how will you learn? What's important here to see is that there are 3 trimesters, as I mentioned earlier. So there's autumn, spring, and summer trimesters. If you look at the first trimester, which is the autumn trimester, you will see in the taught graduate programs across the marketing aspect, the 3 that I mentioned earlier that were highlighted in green, you will see that they are all fall under the same lectures as in the autumn trimester. They all cover off the basic courses that you need for marketing, such as strategic marketing management, consumer insights and analytics, consumer behavior, and omni-channel marketing communications. In the spring trimester and the summer trimester is when you start specializing within each of your programs. So the spring trimester for marketing has things like marketing, has things like pricing and brand management, as well as things like digital retail, and then in the summer trimester, launching new products. You will see highlighted there a marketing project. So while all the other modules in autumn, spring, and summer are lectures or taught modules, you'll see that in the summer trimester, there is a marketing project. This will be your experiential learning project that takes place through using a live case or a live business requirement of an established organization or company that exists in Ireland. So that is where you get your specialization across the MSc in Marketing across spring and summer. So what are the employment outcome examples that we have in terms of the MSc in Marketing? As I said earlier, across the marketing disciplines, we have a very high rate of employment at 92% after 6 months. So what kind of companies do you end up employed in? Within across all the marketing masters, actually, there is varied types of companies that you can go and work for, and there are various different types of roles that you go into. However, in the MSc in Marketing, you will see that there's banking, the banking industry, the betting industry, the advertising industry, also in some consulting, as well as the food and beverage industry. So a wide, varied type of careers that come out of the MSc in Marketing. Now we're going to move on to the second MSc in Marketing program, which is the MSc in Digital Marketing. Here we have the academic director, Julie, and the program manager, Leela. The MSc in Digital Marketing is considered UCD's marquee marketing masters, What that means is really that it is our standout marketing masters in terms of being very dynamic within digital marketing and marketing tech. It prepares you for a future in digital marketing, such as being a digital marketing manager, a social media marketing, or an SEO consultant. So again, as I said earlier, what will you learn and how will you learn? In the autumn trimester, you are focused on the core courses, which are taught across those 3 MSc programs. And then in your spring and summer, you have your specialization through your MSc digital marketing courses. Here within the MSc in digital marketing, you have things like advanced SEO, neuromarketing and AI, digital B2B and creating value within that world, as well as social media marketing. Then you also see in your summer trimester, you have something like customer experience management and influence and persuasion in the digital age. You will also see highlighted your digital marketing project. Now that is also the same as the MSc in marketing. It is an experiential learning project that you work on through an organization that is based in Ireland. But the interesting thing here is it's not just a general marketing project. It will be focused on a digital marketing project. So what is the employment outcome examples that we have in recent years? You will see here that we have consulting such as EY and Accenture. We also have the banking industry like Lloyds and Bank of Ireland. There's also food and beverage such as Board Beer. And then you will also see things like the FMCG market such as Diageo and Colgate-Palmolive. So again, a wide and varied range of jobs and employment outcomes for the MSc in digital marketing. The third course that we're going to talk about today is the MSc in Marketing and Retail Innovation. The academic director for this course is Anne Shu, and Lilla is also the program manager for this course. So the MSc in Marketing and Retail Innovation is actually UCD's specialized retail marketing masters. Again, it's over 12 months as per the others, but it's the main aspect of this course is that it is ideal for retail specialization. And it has a very specific focus on non-traditional channels and non-traditional business models within the retail world. So it prepares you for a future in retail, such as being a retail manager, an e-commerce consultant, being a strategic planner, or even something around sustainable purchasing and that kind of role within retail. So what will you learn and how will you learn? Again, the autumn trimester is your core courses that are taught across the 3 MSc programs. And then in your spring and summer is your specialization. Here for the MSc in Marketing Retail Innovation, you're looking at things like pricing. Again, that neuromarketing and AI, because it's playing such an important role in retail, as well as building sustainable supply chain advantage. Then things like digital retailing and customer experience management in summer trimester. You'll also see that there is a retail-specific experiential learning project in the summer trimester. So employment outcome examples in recent years. Here it is a little bit more retail focused. You'll see that Dunnes Stores, Boohoo, Alibaba, Primark, Gym Plus Coffee and Pfizer are much more sort of retail orientated companies that have taken the MSc in Marketing and Retail Innovation students. And then you get things like LinkedIn, Recruit.ie and Live Nation, which is an agency here. And again, employing people that come out of the MSc in Marketing and Retail Innovation. So now our fourth program within the marketing offers within UCD Smurfit is the MSc in Marketing Practice. This is, as I mentioned earlier, a course that's based on both taught modules as well as experiential projects throughout the year. So to take us through that today is Ava and Eric, who are 2 current students at the MSc in Marketing Practice. Eric and Ava, thank you.
Thank you, Harriet. So as Harriet mentioned, my name is Eric. This is Ava. We're part of the class of 2026. So just for the academic director, our academic director is Professor Damien McLaughlin, along with our senior program manager being Harriet, who's been presenting you today. Continuing on. So the MSc in Marketing Practice, what actually is it? So oftentimes called the MDP, but it is UCD's Practical Experience Masters. So while it offers a master's degree, it also offers a year of work experience in that way. So the duration is 11 months with 3 trimesters and modules, as well as a year of applied projects with client companies. There's a huge focus in this master's of action-based learning and real-world application in which students work in teams. So we're basically operating as marketing advisors, so for live business projects to a wide range of client organizations. So in the past, we've worked with things such as pharmaceutical companies, startups, charities, food and beverage industry, as well as sports. Recently, so examples would be Shelbourne Football Club a few years back, Harry's Nut Butter, Jigsaw, the charity as well. So in terms of how we operate, we kind of operate like a work environment. So we wear kind of business casual attire. We're in the office from Monday to Friday, as you can see in the picture from the bottom left. Continuing on as well, we have quite a big emphasis on developing interpersonal skills, so both professional but also personal, and this is helped and enabled by personalized but also constant feedback. So we do a lot of group work, but also group assignments and individual assignments, and throughout the year we're graded on that and get individual one-on-one feedback in that way. In terms of preparation, it prepares for a future in both specialist but also generalized marketing and business roles. And then in terms of some of the logistics, the marketing practice course is a little bit smaller. So there's around 30 students with around 70% female, 30% male. And then in terms as well, employment outcomes. So 6 months on, there's also as well a 90 plus employment rate among MVP students once they finish off. And then I'll pass on to Ava, who will continue for us.
Yeah, so in terms of the modules that we study throughout the year, so we have a few core modules that we do across the different trimesters. So for example, in the autumn trimester at the moment, we are studying strategic marketing management and customer and market insights. After Christmas in the spring trimester, we'll be doing brand management and digital marketing. And then lastly, in the summer trimester, we'll be doing launching new products and professional development, business building. However, what makes this course different from the other marketing courses in UCD is the full year modules that we study. So we have professional development, which helps us to build our professional skills throughout the year, which prepares us for the workplace. And as well as this, we have our applied marketing project, which refers to our client projects that we do throughout the year. So what will you experience in the MDP? So we have lectures and modules which provide you with a mix of marketing theory and practical skills of how to put this theory into practice in the workplace. So we also have opportunities to go to workshops, see guest speakers and different industry panels, as you can see in the image on the top right there. There's the MDP on an industry visit to Facebook in 2024. And also there's a strong alumni mentorship program. So there's a big connection to alumni through like LinkedIn and things like that, so that you can build your network beyond the classroom. So as well as this, there's a big social emphasis in the course. So we have lots of different social trips and activities throughout the year, which is great. It makes the program really fun and engaging for all of us to be part of. So as you can see in the image at the bottom there, that's a team building activity that we had at the start of the year. We went on a rowing activity, which was great fun together. So what's great about the course is that the class size is quite small. So this year we have 30 students in the MDP. So this is great for us to be able to work together in our teams for our client projects and presentations together, and we get to know each other really well, which is great. So as well as this, a small class size allows you to work closely with the lecturers, and you get to interact with them regularly on a daily basis, which is great to support your learning and career growth. Then following on, employment outcomes from the MDP in recent years. So there's been lots of different avenues that you can go into after the MDP. For example, you can go into digital marketing, marketing management, business development, lots of different roles in different companies. For example, you can see some of the companies listed here. So there's Salesforce, Amazon, Jameson, Kerry Group, different industries that you can go into. There was 2 people last year. Someone went into LinkedIn, and we had Board BIA as well. So lots of different career options there. And then
continuing on, so if you are interested, we're very active online. We've got the Instagram, as you can see with the QR code at the bottom left, just called MSc Marketing Practice. So that gives kind of a bit more of an input into, we have day in the lives and just meet the teams and kind of more what goes on and stuff maybe that we missed today or didn't get time to talk about. We also have the same kind of thing going with the TikTok. So again, you can see more into the office, more about the course as a whole, and to see if it'd be something you'd be interested in, as well LinkedIn. And we also have the website, mdp.ie, so that can dive more into kind of clients, some other people we've worked with in the past. And then continuing on, that's just a little kind of scroll of our Instagram. And then finally, we've just got a TikTok here, just a day in the life. That was just play now.
Yes, so we'll talk you through the day in the life of an MDP advisor. So we clock in the morning. This is our office that we work from. We have security tags to clock in. So every day is quite different. So here on this day, we're doing group meetings in the morning, client scheduling, and then we had a quick coffee break, of course, in the coffee shop in Smurfit. And then on this day, we were actually conducting our first surveys, which was really exciting. We did some market research out in Dunleary Pier. So this is all of us getting ready to go on the Dart, which was really exciting. And then we, what anything else I want to know about? Yeah,
Back in the
so
office now.
yeah. And then sometimes we have client prep before some presentations we have to do. So on this day, there was lots of different group presentations. So we run through them together in like the boardrooms that we have before presenting to any clients. So then here, as you can see, this is the final run through before the presentations.
And that's it for the day. So finally, we just like to say, if you've got any questions as well, we've got the email mdp.inquiries@ucd.ie. So I know myself, I was on this Zoom kind of thing last year, and I remember obviously because MDP is quite a unique course and it's obviously quite different. So you may have lots of questions or thoughts, or even if it's something you forget now but think of later, we're always welcome to answer any sort of questions that you do have. And then in terms of applications, so they've actually recently opened, so we'll be starting the interview process soon. Spaces are limited, but they're taken on a rolling basis. So kind of the sooner you do apply, generally is the better. And yeah, that's it from us at MDP, but don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions at all.
Okay, thank you, Ava and Eric. Now we're going to move into the Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat with and Kathy, Richard, and myself will answer as many of them as we can.
Great. Thanks very much, Harriet, and also Ava and Eric for your contribution on the MSc in marketing practice. So there's a question about marketing practice and how you work as advisors. So what type of work do these businesses have you do? What kind of work are you engaged in? And there's a question, do you have your own marketing department? And what kind of relevant experience do you actually get? So maybe Harriet, do you want to take that one initially?
Yeah, I think so. So as the program manager on the MSc in marketing practice, what we will do is we are often the sort of marketing departments for a couple of companies. So the experience that you get is to research what the company or what the project requires. Then you are able to say, well, therefore we'll develop a marketing strategy and a communication strategy for that client. Sometimes the project stops at that point. Sometimes it develops into actually implementing it. So we will work with some clients and we will actually get to implement the digital marketing, shoot the content, learn about how to read all the analytics and how to change the marketing strategies behind that in order to actually make the best things happen for the clients. What was the second part of that question, Kathy? Sorry, I missed that bit.
So it's the type of businesses that you work with, and do you have your own marketing departments, and what kind of relevant experience do you actually get?
So the relevant experience is that you basically get all the research experience, you get all the marketing experience that's required in terms of developing a marketing strategy, as well as sometimes the actual implementation. And that's the strategy in the learnings that you get. In terms of the kinds of companies that we work with, we do work with varied types of companies in very varied industries. So we work in pharmaceutical, we work in food and beverage. We literally do work across every single type of industry. We've even worked in a supply chain company in terms of how do they promote themselves. So it all depends on the projects that come in. We've worked on luxury brands, smaller companies, sometimes middle-sized companies, and then sometimes actually quite big companies. So it depends on the different projects that come in to the MSc in marketing practice.
Okay, great. There's lots of questions on MDP, which is great here. So there's one question here about the length of the program, and I suppose I can answer that one. It is a 1-year program, not a 2-year program. And there's a question around field trips around the country as part of your work with clients. Does that take place? How often?
Okay, well, I might almost leave that up to Ava and Eric. We're right in the middle of 2 big projects, so the field work is extensive. Ava, Eric?
Yeah, so the fieldwork kind of varies depending on the project. For example, as you could see in the Day in Our Life video there, we were doing surveys, and that was down in Dunleary, but at times you'd have to go around to different places in Ireland. Like there's some students are at different places in Ireland right now, in Donegal and Cork and things like that. So definitely there is a bit of travel involved in terms of carrying out research for clients.
Even on that, so one of our projects is kind of half this semester, half next semester in terms of the people who are on it. But it's great because you do get to see a lot of the country and kind of, I guess, take part in market research in that sort of way and do surveys with people and kind of get to learn that sort of aspect of kind of communicating and the soft skills and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been even only in the few months down to Limerick. I was in Cork as well for a little while. But yeah, it is really nice in that sense. And also the kind of the changing aspect, because you are in the office a lot of the time, but also you do get to kind of go out, and whether it's either you get a train or you either rent a car, depending on what the kind of situation is. But it is really nice in that sense. You kind of go in groups. But yeah, it's a really good experience, and we're looking forward to the rest of it so far.
Great. You're effectively an MDP tourist, Eric. So there was a question about just the practical work experience. Is it paid work? No, it's not paid work. I suppose I can answer that because you're learning on the job. There was also, they were wondering, have you posted about your MDP in-person open night? So there will be an open evening in February, on February 5th. I'm not sure if you guys are planning anything separately, but we will have an open evening here at the Smurfit School in February, where you can come to campus. We will also be hosting a virtual session on Monday, the 24th of November. I'll share a link to our events page as well shortly. And that will feature a dedicated session on the MSc in marketing practice if you wish to join that. Richard, I'm not sure if there's any other admissions related questions that maybe you want to cover off. There's a couple of things there about have applications opened, and maybe we want to speak a little bit to that.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's done a great job. No one's got questions about admissions, so been very quiet here. But look, I think just briefly, just in relation to all the marketing programs, one of the most common questions we tend to get is, look, you're interested in doing marketing, right? So you have a great selection, probably one of the best of most of the top 50 business schools. You have 4 different marketing programs, as Harriet's gone through. So obviously then you get a lot of people asking, well, for guidance, and can you apply for more than one program? So taking the 3 marketing, retail innovation, and digital marketing, the application process is the same for all those, in the sense that you make your application, and you generally then, if you want to apply for more than one, you have to preference them. So you would preference, say, digital marketing as your first choice, and marketing as your second choice. And what we do then is we only process your first choice first. So if we can make you an offer on your first choice, we'll make you an offer, and then your other ones get kind of cancelled off, if you like. So you can apply for more than one. But to be honest with you, what I would say is don't bother. It actually takes more time. It's the same fee, €70 to apply for any of our marketing programs, including marketing practice. So definitely, I would say don't bother, because what we tend to do is, if you don't get an offer one of these, we'll recommend one of the other programs. The only exception for that is, of course, with marketing practice. So because there's a separate process for marketing practice where you can go through an interview stage. So the first stage is, can you get to interview? And the second stage then is get to interview, and then do you get offered the place? So there is a separate team on Harriet's side that look after the interview process for that. So you can generally apply for marketing practice and one of the other two or three programs as well. So reach out to us in admissions though if you want some sort of guidance as to maybe which program might suit you best. That's kind of one of our jobs here, as well as kind of deciding whether you get a place or not. And obviously Ava and Eric and other members from Marketing Practice who are really great at doing what they do and promoting their programs. So, reach out to us. I think we're all very open and we'd like to get questions. We tend to either set up Zoom calls if you're international students, or certainly we'd love to meet you in person, buy you a coffee and show you around the school if you're here in that lovely coffee shop that Ava showed you as well. So other
Richard,
questions around admissions, I think just one last thing briefly is that do apply as soon as you can. That's not just kind of like a promotional thing we say, because we operate on a first come, first served basis, which is unlike a lot of other international business schools. We don't have like a deadline and then we assess everybody. So we are offering a lot of places right now. Our marketing programs are always one of the most popular programs that we do, just being making up a large part of our industry here in Dublin and Ireland. So make an application as soon as you can. Include your transcripts, your English language tests if you have them, but you don't need them, and various other things which we can talk up to in more detail by emailing smurfit.admissions@ucd.ie. That's generally briefly just everything I want to say about admissions, but I don't think there's any specific questions.
Yeah, there is, Richard. Sorry, there's two questions just in relation to international applicants.
Yeah.
For the MDP program in particular. So if you wouldn't just mind touching briefly on that, and then I've another question for Harriet, Ava, and Eric before we finish.
Yeah, sure. So like with our MDPs, again, it's open to everybody. And we're quite open to say that we love to have international students apply for this program. You do need to have a bit of a marketing experience, but we do look at trying to get everyone from different backgrounds because it helps with our diversity. So, reach out to us again if you want any specific questions, but absolutely. And I think it's fair to say, Harriet, that we are increasing our international students on our marketing programs and already quite a few this year being selected for interviews. So would you want to comment on that, Harriet?
I think generally the international students, it's a good idea to apply as soon as you can, because it takes longer to get the process going and to get your visas should you be accepted onto the courses. But across all the courses, and especially across the MDP, we are always open to international students.
Great. So there was a question there, Harriet, in relation to the projects on the MDP. Do you get to choose projects? Are there different teams for the projects? And how many companies would you potentially work with within the 11 months of the program?
Okay, well, generally it's about 5 or 6 projects or clients that you will work with over the year. It does depend on the projects that come in. It's not always obvious how many you're going to work on. But it will definitely be more than 3 or 4. So you'll be upwards of 4 projects per year. A project lasts around about 3 or so months. So what Ava and Eric would have found is they would have started and then they would have had their first project for about 2 weeks, and they would have thought, well, this is okay, I'm not too busy. And then suddenly the next project arrives, and then the next project arrives. So there's a rolling continuum of projects. You don't always get to choose the projects that you're on, because the choice of the projects depends on what comes in when, what your actual workload is versus other people's workloads. You always work with different people. So you might end up in a project where, for example, Eric and Ava might be on 2 projects together, but they won't be on all 6 together. So there you are always meeting different people. It's all about learning how to manage group dynamics, how to manage different team members. You learn all those soft skills and your role within that group through all the different projects that you work on. Does that answer the question okay?
It does, yeah. Thanks very much for that, Harriet. So we're kind of into the last couple of minutes, or seconds, I should say, of our session. We're finishing shortly. I've shared a couple of useful links there, and also just if you have further queries today, you can contact our admissions team, as mentioned. Just one final question that did come in there was around the Smurfit Careers Network service and how that does support our students. We have a wonderful team here who work with our students from the moment they join us in September right through. A very, very active network, hosting careers fairs, guest speakers, facilitating workshops. I don't know if it's something you might want to mention briefly, Harriet, from your perspective as a program lead.
Well, certainly, I think that the Careers Network within Smurfit works extremely hard at connecting their students to a network and to jobs. So it's a really strong element of Smurfit Business School. We use it within the MDP, but we also have our own aspect where we use a lot of our mentors and a lot of our alumni. But that's because it is quite a small course and we have a strong alumni base. But the careers department in UCD Smurfit is something that I find quite admirable in terms of how hard they work for the students in terms of setting them on the path towards getting a job.
And
Great.
I might just add, Kat, quickly, is that don't forget, we also have the Global Leadership Program that students from all of our programs, including the 4 we talked about today, can join, which also has mentoring and career coaching and things like that as part of it. So we had a webinar on that just early on, but you can check it out on our website if you want more information.
Yeah, I'm just going to share that link, Richard, so that people can take a quick look at that as well. It's certainly a unique selling point. So I want to thank Harriet and Ava and Eric for your contributions, and also Richard. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining us and taking the time today to be with us. Thank you so much. Bye now.